In this episode of the Natural Alpha Podcast.
Whey protein isolate versus whey protein concentrate. It's been talked about for years. It's going to be talked about for several more years. Is there a right? Is there a wrong? Like most things, it's just sort of suited for the individual, but I'm going to give you the pros and cons of both and give you which one is suited for certain people and which is suited for other people. And in the end, I think there is a superior product. So stick around and let's get to the bottom of this.
Hey guys, welcome to the Natural Alpha Podcast, where we talk about natural but powerful biofundamentals and hacks to increase your performance in training, sex, and behavior. And remember to subscribe, like, and share if you do in fact find this podcast or YouTube video helpful. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and let's get back to the show. All right, welcome back to the show. Now, I'm going to talk about probably the number one asked about supplement when it comes to exercise, and that is protein powder. Now, protein powder, you can either go the vegan route or you can get a whey type of protein. So I'm just going to be talking about the whey protein today. And when you get into that question, it's typically what is better, a whey isolate or a whey concentrate. Now, they're very similar. It's just the isolate goes through a bit more processing. Now, I'm going to tell you sort of the pros and cons of both, but I'm going to leave you with what I think is actually a better supplement. Okay, but let's just go over the basics here. So any whey protein, whether it's an isolate or a concentrate, I'm not going to get into these. I'm just going to review these, right? So number one, it's got to come from grass-fed cows. Number two, the milk has to be unpasteurized at the time of extraction of the whey. Three, it's got to use natural sweeteners, if any, so something like stevia or a monk fruit. Stay away if it has aspartame in it. Don't eat it. And it's got to use a cold filtration process. So not a high heat process. Okay, so now, basically, you need to have all those before whey protein's any good to begin with. Now, which one is better, isolate or concentrate? Well, like anything, it sort of depends on the person and what you're looking for, like I said earlier. But both forms, start out as a whey concentrate, right? Which has about 24 grams of protein per scoop in like a 30-gram scoop. And then the concentrate has about 2 grams of fat and 2 grams of carbohydrates, typically in the form of lactose, right? The isolate, however, goes under further processing to take out those carbohydrates and that fat. And what you're left with is basically a more pure protein or pure protein. Right? So that sort of sounds good because you're getting rid of carbohydrates and fats, right? Now, all right, if you're still watching or listening, then you must be enjoying the content. So please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's really going to help me help other guys just like you with my content and grow my channel. All right, guys, let's get back to the show. Okay, now the isolate camp will say this is better because you're getting more protein per scoop and you're getting more protein, more bang for your buck. But here's my opinion. You need to look at what the carbohydrates and the fats are and if they're actually any good. There's a real war on carbohydrates and there was a war on fat back in the 80s and the 90s. So let's just take a look at that, right? So the carbs that are taken out is lactose, and it's only about 2 grams. So if you're extremely intolerant to lactose, you might want to go with an isolate, right? But just remember that the more undenatured or unfiltered or raw this stuff is, or just left in its concentrate form, it will also hold on to the enzyme lactase, which is the digestive enzyme for lactose, right? So again, it all depends on how sensitive you are. Now, the fat, however, in whey protein concentrate, again, if it comes from the sources that we talked about right at the beginning of this video, is full of great stuff. And I'm just going to name off 2 right now. So number 1 is huge, is immunoglobulins, right? So immunoglobulins are immunosupportive proteins, but they are bound to the fat molecule in the whey. So they're bound to the fat that is taken out when you get a whey protein isolate. So I think that would be a good thing to leave in, right? Anything that is immunosupportive, especially in the gut area, with everything that's going on that we're learning about the microbiome is a good thing to leave in there and to leave into your diet, right? And number 2 is phospholipids. So these are fat molecules that are basically the building blocks to gateways of every cell in your body, right? So you've heard about leaky gut. There's leaky gut that there's typically talked about, but they're now discovering like leaky brain, leaky heart, all these other organs, right? Really depend on phospholipids. So the fat in whey protein is full of these phospholipids, really good for you. So I would leave that in as well. So in a summation, I think that whey protein concentrate is I'll say far better product, but it's a better product provided that you are not extremely lactose intolerant. And that would be the only thing. That's the only reason why I would send someone to an isolate, right? But if with every serving you take, you're, colonizing your gut with some good immunoglobulins and getting some phospholipids, why not have that? It's not a bad thing. So I disagree with a lot of people on this subject because they don't really get into why the fat is bad. It's just that typically I just want more protein for my buck. But you got to remember what building muscle and this whole thing about building healthy muscle and natural muscle, it's a whole process, and it starts with having a good healthy gut. So leave the good stuff that's in the fat in the protein, and you'll have a far better result, in my opinion. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching or listening on the podcast. And until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Stay strong with whey protein concentrate.
Hey guys, thanks again for watching or listening, and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And go ahead and share the video. Share it with a friend if you think that they will find the content useful. Again, like the video and leave a comment and let me know what you think. And also leave a comment and let me know what you want to hear about, because I want to talk about what you guys want to hear about. All right, guys, till next time, stay strong.